Welcome to this short pre-bedtime Yin Yoga practice, which is designed to calm the nervous system, bring you down, and get you ready for a great sleep. So we're going to use a block, a strap, or anything that you have at home, like a dressing gown tie or a regular tie, and a bolster or just a big cushion. We're going to start by laying down on the mat, so feel free to make your way there whenever you are ready. And we're going to just start off the practice by focusing in and allowing yourself a little moment to arrive into the space wherever that is that you're practicing. Beginning to focus on your breathing and taking a deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. If you feel like your breath is a little shorter or sharper, you're struggling to focus on that deep breathing, we're just going to spend this first couple of minutes slowing down the breath. So beginning to count the inhale as it comes in through the nose. And just extending the exhale a couple of counts longer than your breath in. So if you're inhaling for a count of 4, you're exhaling for a count of 6. And as you come into this slower belly breathing, let's begin to take a little body scan, starting at the crown of the head, and just piece by piece, taking your awareness down through the back of the body, into the neck, into the shoulders. And each time you take your mind into that part of the body, just sending with it a little signal to relax, release, and let that part of the body feel fully supported by the mat. Taking our awareness slowly down the spine and into the lower back. As you breathe in, let's breathe into that space surrounding the lower back. As you exhale, gently squeeze the lower back into the ground. And then let's continue that full body awareness down through the hips. And finally down the back of the legs and all the way into the soles of the feet. On the next breath in, let's reach both arms up and overhead and take a full body stretch, hands away from the feet. As you exhale, hugging both knees in towards the chest and taking a little gentle rock from side to side on the lower back. I'm going to start this evening's yin practice by moving into a happy baby, where the soles of the feet come up to the ceiling. Your hands are either hooking around the outer edges of the feet or fingertips hooking the big toes. If these still feel a little tight or tricky, you can always use your strap, placing the strap around the balls of the feet. What we're aiming to do is allow the knees to melt a little closer towards the armpits. With our Yin Yoga practice, we want to focus on softness, on that restorative stretch. So rather than grabbing a hold of the feet and yanking them close to the body, we have a gentle grip, and it's a passive stretch. We are allowing those knees, with the weight of the legs, to sink deeper to the armpits. The head is resting on the floor, the lower back is resting on the floor. And if it feels better to bring a little movement in here, maybe there's a gentle rock from side to side. In our Yin Yoga, we're holding these asana, these deep stretching poses, for a much longer time. And rather than working into the strength of the body, we are giving ourselves time to release all of that stored and held tension in the body. So often through our connective tissue, our fascial networks, the body will hold on to specific moments of tension or stress. And by holding and breathing these deeper stretching asana is how we begin to unravel those layers of rigidity. So let's take a few more breaths in our happy baby, finding that stillness. Breathing deeply all the way down into the belly, and as you exhale, finding that melting feeling. Just let the body fall deeper into this space. Let's take 2 final deep breaths here. And then finally releasing the soles of the feet. Take the soles of the feet flat to the mat. And just allow the knees to drop into the middle, touching in the center. Find that rebound stretch for 3 breaths. As you inhale, slowly stretch the arms up and overhead once again. Hug the knees into the chest and give yourself a little roll up to us seated. We're going to come straight forwards all the way into our tabletop, making sure the shoulders are over the wrists and the hips are over the knees. From here, we're going to take it into our Anahatasana. Keeping the hips above the knees, we'll walk the hands forwards and just come to rest onto your forehead. It's slightly like our child's pose, but with the hips lifted. And what this asana is doing is allowing us to really stretch into the chest and the shoulders. Personal preference, some people prefer to have their forehead on the mat. Some people prefer to have their chin on the mat. So give both options a go and feel into what feels best for your body today. And let's stay with that slow, steady breath, breathing in nice and deeply through the nose. And as you exhale, allowing the upper body to just melt closer to the ground. Our Sanskrit name for this shape is Anahatasana, working into our Anahata chakra, that heart space, that space of openness. The English translation is often translated as heart melting pose. I want you to think about those words as you lay here. Heart melting. Allowing the heart space, that space in the middle of the chest, to really sink down to the ground. Allowing the body to let go. Let's take our final 3 breaths here. And then slowly begin to walk the hands in and bring yourself into Balasana, child's pose. Sitting the hips back to the heels, stretching the fingertips forwards, and dropping the forehead to the mat. Just a short rebound of 3 breaths here. Begin to walk the hands in towards the body and lift yourself up. You're going to come to seated, so sliding the hips to one side and lengthening the legs forwards. So our next pose is going to be our Ekapada Trianga Mukha Paschimottanasana. So we're shifting onto the left hip, onto the sitting bones, and tucking that right leg in. So you're going to be resting onto the top of the foot. If this feels a little difficult, you can always use a block underneath the seat to elevate the seat and give yourself a little more space. Keep that strap handy as well, as you might want it for the next part of this shape. As you breathe in, we're going to lengthen and reach up through the crown of the head, through the arms. Create that space so that as you exhale, we can hinge at the hips and come to folds. You can either grab onto the foot, drop the chin to the chest and fold forwards. If that foot isn't within reach, use your strap, hook it around the ball of your foot, And take a gentle grip with the hands. As you inhale, think about lengthening, looking forwards. And as you exhale, allow the upper body to melt into this shape. Have a little think about how you could bring a little bit more softness into this shape, whether that's relaxing the jaw, the forehead, the shoulders, the elbows onto the ground. Using the weight of your upper body to stretch the back of the leg, the hamstring, the calf. Let's take 3 more long, slow breaths here. And then gently release by walking the hands in, lifting the chest up. And we're going to keep this leg variation. Use your bolster or cushion and take it behind the back. You want the base of the bolster to be at the base of your spine. From here, inhale to lengthen and grow tall. And as you exhale, start to walk the hands back, and you're coming to lay down on top of this bolster. Taking the arms out either side, palms facing up so that the shoulders are nice and open. Let's take a deep inhale here, breathing into belly, chest, shoulders. Using the exhale to really allow the shoulder blades to melt down either side of this bolster. How can you relax the body more here? And let's take our last 3 breaths. And then we're going to release this nice and slowly. So using the elbows on the ground either side of you to gently bring yourself up, tucking the chin to the chest and coming back to seated. You can remove that block for a second as we take it to the other side. So shift the weight onto the left hip to release that right leg. And then come to the other side, tucking the left leg in. Again, if you'd like to elevate the seat onto a block, sliding the block underneath. As you inhale, find that length, grow tall. And as you exhale, start to fold forwards. Once again, use the strap if that feels better. If you like to have that resistance or something to hold on to. And even if you're not actively moving as you breathe in this pose, I want you to think about the inhale being what lengthens the crown of the head forwards towards the foot. And the exhale, allowing the upper body to melt that little bit further forward, sinking deeper into this shape. If at any point your mind comes distracted or it wanders away, just gently guide it back through coming back to that counting the breathing. Breathing in for a count of 3 or 4 and extending that exhale a couple of counts longer for 5 or 6. Let's take our last 3 breaths here. And then begin to release the strap, the foot, whatever you're holding on to. Slowly walk the hands in, lift the chest. Find that inhale to lengthen through the crown of the head. And this time as you exhale, let's walk all the way back to lie on the bolster, breathing here. Make sure the arms are out to the side and the palms are facing up. The neck is long and that tailbone is tucking under to find that length through the spine. Breath in is filling the belly, the chest, and the shoulders with air. And the breath out is really allowing those shoulder blades to almost hug either side of that bolster. Let's take our last 3 breaths here. And then again, using the elbows, tuck the chin to the chest. Gently roll yourself up. Rock onto the right hip and release that left leg forwards. We'll take that bolster and slide it underneath the knees. Making our way to lay down onto the mat for our final relaxation shavasana. Once you arrive in that lay down position, let's take a deep breath in through the nose. And a big sigh out through the mouth. The aim of the sigh is to release any last bits of strength or control. So if you feel like you need to take another one, then you can always do so for these last 5 minutes. I want you to allow the body to really melt into stillness. And let the shoulder blades relax onto the mat. Let the fingertips curl in towards each other. Let the hips feel fully supported. And let the legs drape on top of that bolster, finding softness. Slowing down the breath. Releasing all control. Letting the mind wander. I'm going to allow this video to pause here. Keep breathing in your shavasana. I recommend to stay here for anywhere between 5 to 15 minutes. Breathing into that stillness. And as always, a huge thank you for practicing with me. Enjoy your Shavasana.